Try and do.
It's time for the LowcoSports Lowdown. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Max Araj.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the LowcoSports Lowdown. I'm Max Araj alongside Wes Kerr and Marcus Walsh. Justin will be with us in just a second. Trying to get everything set up here on the Streamwise, but I think we got everything good and ready to go. So we'll keep going, and Justin will be with us hopefully in just a second. He said he's on his way. So, but in the meantime, how you fellas doing?
I'm doing well. Certainly, we had a very tragic event
Yeah,
occur over the weekend, and just shocked me, and just was heartbroken to see the loss of one of ours of Team Loco. Our good friend Tim Alonso, um, tragically lost his life over the weekend, and it's hard to comprehend something like that happen, because he was one of us. He was alongside Team Loco for the good part of last year, and someone who we were able to turn to for so much, in terms of not just our coverage of local sports, but a friend who we could always talk to and hang out with, and just a great guy, and such a young guy who is going to have such an amazing future coming for him. And things like that just unfortunately happened all of a sudden, and it was devastating to hear, and it just absolutely shocking for me that that this can happen. And you just never know. And that's really the tough thing about living, and about, you love having these friendships, and you love, making these last relationships. And the sad thing is, you never know what can happen on any given day. And what a great guy that Tim was. And we'll get into him as we go on here today. But just absolutely shocked and saddened to hear this tragic piece of news that came across on Sunday morning. And Max, as someone who knew him as well, especially the last couple of years, as you two were close in age, both growing up here in the Low Country, certainly had to be just hit really hard for you as well.
yeah. It was very shocking, and I'm sure it was shocking for everyone. Um, for someone as young as he was to unfortunately lose his life, and it was very heartbreaking. I of course was at church when I found out, and so that was very hard to be at church while hearing about something as heartbreaking and as, to be honest, terrifying as that was, to hear such tragic news. He was a great asset. He was a great person that had just joined us on Loco Sports, and trying to start off something that I think he was as interested as I am of doing, and that is being able to cover sports, and not just any sports, the sports here in the Low Country, which he knows very well from the years that he has lived here and has been a part of um, the Low Country sports scene. So it was very, very difficult to hear the news, and to his family, his mom, his dad, and the rest of his family. My condolences, my prayers are with you, and your family, because that is something no parent should ever have to go through. And it's very unfortunate and very, very saddening to hear that news yesterday
Mm.
morning. And it's
Sending
there's not enough. There's no
mm,
words to
really isn't
what
really isn't it?
you know.
Really aren't.
Yeah, that
Sending all my strength
very hard.
his way, and now I bring in the founder of LowcoSports, Justin. Um, and Justin is someone you had a vision for this thing. You started this thing back in 2017 with the goal of not just shining a light on student athletes, but there was a secondary goal. The secondary goal was giving an opportunity for the young people of the Low Country around here, Beaufort, Jasper, Colleton, and beyond, giving them a chance to follow their dreams of pursuing their passions, and whether it was journalism, whether it was media, whether it was just filming and covering these games, and pursuing goals in sports media, sports journalism, etc. And just it's this loco sports vision has been realized in many different ways, but when we see something as tragic as this, it is heartbreaking on all levels to find out that one of our up
Yeah.
and coming loco members is no longer with us.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is new for me. I mean, I joke when I call, first Bracken and then Carlo and now Wes and Max, my large adult sons, like I you feel like sons to me, truly. And that was, Wes, always a bigger part of the vision than probably anyone ever realizes. I really thought by now we'd have a whole army of students out there running around covering everything. And, who knows why it didn't happen that way, but that's the way I envisioned it in my mind when I launched the thing. Was all these students will be a part of this, and they'll get to learn the ropes. And
Right.
and there have been a number. I mean, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that hasn't
We've had
happened.
many. Had
I'm
many
not
come
proud
through.
of I'm super proud of what we've been able to do as far as that goes. But it truly, like, I really imagined Tim would be a part of this thing for a long time. I mean, once he got in, I felt like, oh, he's going to go get his degree. He's going to come back, and we're going to figure out how to make him part of, the team as a career, like we're going to figure out how to do this. We're going to get this thing going. And obviously it's I'm still processing it, if I'm being honest. I mean, I think
Get it. Absolutely.
it was, I don't know, it hit me upside the head yesterday. I mean, it was the first thing I saw yesterday, and I sent it to you guys, and I mean, it was within minutes of waking up. I saw it and I was like, wait, what? Like, I had to reread it so many times and be like, wait. So, and then Ray and Andrea came over last night and sat and talked for a little bit, and we had an ugly cry and some deep hugs, and I don't know. I don't know. Like you said, somebody said earlier, there are no words. Like, you don't.
There aren't.
I don't know.
There really aren't.
Here's the way
They're so strong, and I don't know where it comes from, like, but they're incredibly strong people. I guess it probably comes from their love for one another. I mean, their family. I've been super, super impressed with their family the whole time that I've known them. Since I've gotten to know the entirety of their family, which came from Tim. I mean, I knew Emmy first, because she and Zoe hung out in the front row of the student section, and always said hi when I was at the games and stuff. But it was Tim who reached out and wanted to work with us, and I sat at Starbucks, same Starbucks as you, Max, and had the same meeting. And I think you can attest, and I think Tim would say the same thing, that we walked in there strangers, and we walked out of there like we knew each other our whole lives. And,
And I think you and I did the same thing, JJ.
Did
years
we?
ago.
Yeah, probably.
We met somewhere.
Yeah, we did. And Wes and
Probably Starbucks.
Yeah, we all had our origin story.
Probably the local grind, actually.
Yeah, I picked up some Starbucks today, and I got in the car and just realized, we had all met at Starbucks,
I don't even like
coffee shop.
I don't even like Starbucks. Like, I think it's a super overrated. I'm a coffee snob, but that Starbucks has been a magical meeting place for me over at the Crossing. Like, I've had beyond just those two, I've had other really, really special meetings at that place for some reason. But Tim will live on. I mean, period.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Through his family and the people who loved him, he absolutely will. And Ray and Andrea and I are going to make sure that he lives on through Loco student
Absolutely.
media as well.
If I can add my thoughts in, I apologize. I was
Yeah, of
scarfing
course.
down some beef jerky.
I also apologize. I was
been a long day.
out for an after school nap.
Dude.
Went a little
That's
too long. Yeah,
that's cool, man. That's all good.
Here's the thing, and while I didn't know Tim nearly as long as you guys did, hard for me to even say that right now.
I didn't know him
Wow.
very long.
While I didn't know him as long as you guys did, I knew him since when did we go to that May River game? That was in October. I knew him I knew of him a little bit. I saw him on the podcast a little bit. But my main interaction with him was that Friday night going to Colleton County with he and his dad. They picked me up at my girlfriend's house, and check that. They picked me up at my place. And then we made that drive an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I got to talk with Tim, pick his brain on what he was interested in.
That's awesome.
What he was doing, Coastal Carolina, what he had done at May River. And then I started talking to his dad. And I'm not ashamed at all to admit it, that his dad had a profound impact just from what he does as a teacher. I also went through special education for a while growing up in school. And knowing what his dad does at Battery Creek gave me just a huge insight and an amazing amount of admiration and respect for his dad.
Amen.
For Ray and Andrea and the family, I am so sorry for your loss. I will be at that mass tomorrow, without question, and I will be thinking of Tim when I am at JP2 scouting the John Paul II Golden Warriors. Tim had a zest for football, from what I could tell.
And basketball.
He was
That
knowledgeable.
that was the one sport, obviously, that I covered with him, so
Oh.
I could just see it in that game
I
that we
remember
did
him coming
together.
on at the end of, I guess it was football season. Did he come? I don't remember if he started at the end of spring last year or the beginning of fall.
No, it was yeah. He was with us during the fall season.
Yeah.
Fall semester.
Yeah, there's been so many who have come through here and have made an impact. But Tim especially, his energy and enthusiasm for football certainly, was shown through his appearances on these podcasts and just text
Great
messages.
dedication.
And I probably met him at least once. I think I did at least once. I don't remember how much I was able to, but
right. We don't see each other in person.
we don't see each other, especially in football season, because we're all at different games. But we got to talk to each other on the podcast each night, or on Friday nights at least, and he just had that, that passion from within himself, especially for
It factor.
covering football.
Really had that.
Loved going inside the game, inside the the hashes.
That raw, youthful enthusiasm.
Yes.
That rookie energy.
Yeah.
He always had that kind of
that we all had a long time ago.
He was on here with us, and I was really excited for him to be getting started. And I guess what's hard for me is it's one of those things where I feel like our relationship was just starting to grow, I had not been able to put as much time into him as I would have liked to. We got him published, and he was on his way, but it wasn't like they were accomplishments, but they weren't career accomplishments. We were just getting started. And that's what really hurts. But as Ray and Andrea really, the strength she showed last night to be able to sit with me and give me at least a modicum of the understanding that I was seeking. You know, like I told Ray, it's my nature to want to understand and to need to understand. And they were able to give me way more of that than I could have asked for as far as explanation goes. And you know, they really seemed at peace with the fact that Tim told them, I don't want to go back to the hospital. I just want to go to sleep. And then he laid down to sleep and didn't wake up. And there was, you know, as horrible as it is, there was a certain simple beauty in that I think has allowed them to kind of find some peace beyond what you would think you'd be able to in that moment. And Andrea mentioned that, you know, she and Tim had really kind of both leaned back into their faith together, you know, recently. And I think that brings a bit of peace to her.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And, you know, I mean, it's the worst thing to lose a child. I literally cannot imagine the hurt. But it's a beautiful thing too, that they have 3 other children who loved him as much as they did, and that they can lean on each other in this time and know that
It's a lot of strength.
each needs one another, and
Yes.
that they all, you know, it's easier together. You know, it's easier together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Ah,
You know, yeah, it's
It's
you know,
easier together. Max, if I can interject,
yeah, go ahead.
it's easier together without question. And if you're going through some things, and it's been the last couple of weeks have been kind of tough off and on for me for various things. It's
who is
easy to
not going
just
through it here? Anybody want to raise their hand?
it's easy
I've had
to,
my
if you have
share
it,
of
just to
just
get
grief
motivated to be better.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna do,
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I need
You
to
know,
be better.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
I know everyone is from different areas of faith and religious background, but you know, this is a time where you rely on those beliefs that you know,
Amen, brother. Amen.
there are bigger plans that are, you know, in the works, in the makings for these for yourself, for these people. And I do think for you know, Tim, um he was sent to he was sent to a better place in a way that
yeah,
he is going to be relieved of that pain. And we will certainly miss him here. And and for his family, I just pray that they will find that strength, and they will find that you know, growth between themselves. And you know, you learn a lot from situations like these. And I've learned a lot through my interactions with Tim about that joy, about that excitement, because I've been here around here for a while now. And you know, it's sometimes it's, you know, you've been around here, you're trying to get excited to get trying to get pumped over every time you do this, and you cover a game. And sometimes it's hard, sometimes you have a bad day at work, or you have if you're tired or something, and you just don't have that same energy as I once had. And it all depends. I do many times, but just having the kids, having these younger, and for Max as well, I think having Max here has really energized a lot for myself. And
Without
I've been
question.
doing toughness. But this is tonight we're honoring and remembering our good friend Tim Alonso. And he always brought that jolt of excitement and that youthful energy to what we were doing. And I love being a part of this. And you know, I do believe that he is
He was our
he's
King
going to be,
Griffey Jr.
yeah.
He was our King Griffey
yeah.
Jr. He wore
Yeah.
the hat backwards. He was the
You know,
kid. You know, he was the
Yep.
kid.
Yes.
But Yeah.
By the way, Ray checked in. That's why I just started the waterworks over here.
you know, I, you know, you guys will find out soon enough that anyone I consider a friend, I consider as family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Same.
he was family. And
Yep.
Yep.
you guys know I've gone through it the last year. Losing my grandmother and then losing, of course, a childhood friend and someone I grew up with. And it's never easy, and it's it's never easy, man. And
Mhm.
it's
Well, you
it's
guys are
so
about
hard.
the same age, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We weren't far apart in age, I don't think. I think I remember, hearing
What year
about
did you
him during
graduate
his
high
days
school?
in school. Huh?
19, right?
What year did you
19.
graduate high school?
I graduated in 2019.
Yeah.
So it was right before, it was just before COVID became a serious issue. And it's so difficult to hear something as
Yeah.
unfortunate as this. And it breaks my heart because I sometimes you just think, despite your faith, and of course, I have tremendous faith, and I can tell that Tim's parents do as well. And to show the strength that they did at your
Yeah.
place, Justin, last night, it shows me that
Phenomenal.
their faith is strong, and that they know that no matter what, they will get through it. And
Yep.
it's so difficult though to lose another person that meant a lot to you in your life because they were loving the same things and doing the same things as you were. Um, doing this show every Friday night, doing our Loco Pigskin Live, and being able to go and have fun, travel, experience other, football cultures this past football season. And I know that Tim absolutely enjoyed every moment of doing that and then getting to hop on and talking about it with us, and so to lose someone who has as much passion as anyone about what we do, it's so hard to lose someone like that, someone who loves everything about Loco Sports and everything about covering local sports. And it's hard to lose someone like that, and it's hard to lose someone who really cared and really loved what they
And
did.
especially someone who I had, excitement for working with us long term and being that longtime voice for May River and for the local at large, and continuing to show his excitement for the Sharks, that school, and for the loco in general, because he was a Sharks fan through and through, but
Yeah.
first and foremost, he was rooting for everyone. He
Oh
had that one local mentality. He was excited for whoever he saw he was coming to play, whoever he saw that night, and he was always excited to give his take and to report on it, and
Yep.
he exemplified the qualities that you were hoping our reporters are going to
Yeah.
adopt in the future, Justin. And
He was an easy one.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
no-brainer. We met,
You
and
know,
I was
I
just like, yeah, absolutely, you're gonna do an
when he
interview.
first hopped on, I was like, oh, I have so many plans to do, for him. Like
Yeah.
We're
you know,
gonna
I
go on
wanted.
so many adventures together, buddy.
Yeah, I know, right? Like I
Rick and
was
Morty.
so ready to do a Buford Tone broadcast with him for a May River Sharks
Yeah.
basketball game or a May River Sharks
Yeah.
football game. Get him in
Well,
there,
and,
get him here full time.
unlike you, Max, and it's not a knock at all, but like your love is broadcasting. That's what brought you to us. Wes and I are both more writers by our nature,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
Tim was the best writing prospect I'd had in some
Yeah,
time.
absolutely.
It's hard to find kids now who
Yeah.
want to write. They want to do other things, and that's okay. That's why we shifted the platform, right? Because the media landscape has shifted, which is what people want now. But
I totally agree
there's
with
still a
you.
market for writing, and
Right.
I've always planned to get back to having more written
And I think
content. And Tim
being
was
on, yeah,
he's the best one I had in a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, Brooke
You know,
Simons was tremendous.
Yeah,
that's
Brooke,
the other
Brooke
thing.
was
Really
Brooke
haven't
was so
had one who
versatile.
leaned
She did
into
she did
writing.
she did a bit of everything, and
Yeah.
that's what that's the key. You want to have the tools in the toolbox if you want to perform well in this industry. And so that's something that
Yeah, right.
we have done well here, and
Yeah.
to have someone who has so much potential, or had unfortunately had so much potential, and
Yeah.
all of these different all these different you know tasks that could help really propel him to do big things with us, and maybe things beyond that. It's just devastating to me, because I was just I came here out of college, and I learned a lot about writing. Just I did a bit when I was in college, wrote for the paper, but a lot of it for writing, broadcasting especially too, picked it up just
We're
naturally, just
doing.
by
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
observing.
you're
Like,
natural
yeah,
at it. No doubt
just
about that.
just by reading articles, reading
Yep.
newspaper, and then listening to play-by-play calls and listening to podcasts.
Mimicking what you enjoy. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
That's
And
how you do it. And
right.
I mean, Wes, like I hope you think your writing improved tremendously just
Oh,
from
no doubt. No
having an
doubt.
editor. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody needs an editor, and just somebody
Yeah.
who can give it a fresh set of eyes and
Yeah.
punch it up. And
you know, I
Tim was able
and
to produce really usable copy. I'd punch up his lead a little bit and clean up little stuff here and there and give him a nice kicker that tied it all together. And
Right.
he'd be like, "Whoa, you made it way better." And I was like, "Yeah, but I really didn't do that much. Like, you got the bones here, man.
right.
Like, I mean,
And
it's
I think
easy as an editor if you got good bones."
and I think I learned in my time here, and believe it or not, it's going to be a year of me being with you
Yeah.
guys next month, which is crazy to think about.
Feels like
Uh,
3.
Yeah, it does.
Uh,
It really does. I've realized that not only do I want to do broadcasting, I want to expand my horizons, because joining you guys, I realized, while I never liked English class and I never liked writing, I realized writing about sports, writing about what I love and what I do is something
Right.
I know I can do,
You
and
can definitely.
I realized, when you join here, not only are you a broadcaster, but you're also,
Do
uh,
whatever you want to
you know,
be, brother.
yeah,
It's
you
it's
can
it's
be
really
whatever.
about how
But
much
you could
passion
also
you have
be
for it.
you
It's
could be a
what it
sports
comes down
analyst,
to.
you can be a sports, a sports writer, and you can do it all and learn how to do it well. And I
And
hope for those of you who are
lean
watching,
into what it is you love.
if there are any local kids watching, just know if you want to do something like this, dude, call us. We are more
Yeah.
than happy to have you guys come on
We
and
can't wait.
join us.
We're
And we'd be so excited to have you. If you're interested in sports writing, sports broadcasting, we are here to help you through that, and we are here to kickstart your career. And that I think that's what I've learned. Being here, and I think Tim realized that when he joined us, is that we will help him in
instantly.
any way possible to make him the best possible
Yeah.
sports writer he can be.
Yeah.
And we knew, I mean, Justin, that when he came on, we realized, how great of a writer and how great of a sports mind he had, and it was really truly something special to see.
Yeah, and it. I was trying to get him to cover some basketball over the break and come on with this one last time, and he was busy working and stuff and wasn't able to. But I know basketball was his true love, his first love, and the sport
And
that he played all the way up. And he and his mom were planning to go to Charlotte and see the Knicks.
Oh
They're from
man.
New
oh
York.
yeah,
They're from New York. They're going to go see the Knicks, and maybe I
well,
shouldn't say, but Tim and Andrea had a bond over prize picks. They were betting them parlays together. So I don't know if she'll keep betting the parlays in his honor, but
it was it was so funny. It's so funny you mentioned that during the John Draft Classic when I got asked by Javon to hop on. I was like, May River's playing for the championship. I wonder if Tim wants to hop on with us.
Yeah.
And I thought about calling him, and I didn't, and I feel bad that I didn't, because I think it would have been so much fun to have him hop on with us and just be able to talk basketball and talk, the local sports scene with us during the multiple games we did during that tournament.
I mean, so much untapped potential, obviously, and that's always the story when we lose young people. Just so much that they didn't get to do, and I think before we shift gears, because Tim wouldn't want us to sit around and talk about him for
right
the rest of our lives. He'd want us to get back to doing what we love and what he loved. But I think before we do, the most important thing to take from all of this is, that we're all going through it in some way or another, truly, like everyone does. And
Yeah.
you got to talk about it. I mean, and that's, to me, this is therapy. This is so therapeutic for me to sit with you guys and talk about it. This is my grieving process. This is not the first time I've cried and grieved on the show, and won't be the last. We've talked about other people we've lost over the years, DJ and Alex Sherrill, and gosh, who else? There's been more.
Yeah.
But it's always tragic. It's always sad. But the most important thing, especially when mental health is involved, and again, just to be clear, Tim did not take his own life. But he was prescribed medications for mental health, which me too. Who isn't? And two medications interacted in some way that he wasn't feeling well. He went to the hospital. They got him stabilized and checked him out, and he went home and took a nap. They woke him up because he was snoring kind of abnormally loudly, and he said, I don't want to go back to the hospital. I just want to go to sleep. And he went to sleep and didn't awaken, and I just want to make that clear that it was not a situation of it was not a mental health crisis, but I do think it's important that we bring awareness to mental health issues, because the first thing that Andrea said to me last night was, Timmy had a heart of gold, and he really had a hard time understanding this world and how unfair it can be. And I said, my God, if there was ever a more relatable statement for me, I don't know what it is. I have that same sense of justice and moral justice, and I think we all do. And it's a thing that is common with people who are on the spectrum in some form or another. And I think I can safely say we're all probably on the spectrum in some form or another. I mean, I think there's a reason we all are attracted to the same things and get along so well, and it's because we all kind of occupy that same brain space. And so that's one of the things we struggle with, is why is the world so unjust? We see the big picture, and it bothers us, and that really bothered Tim. And that was one of the things he struggled with. And then as we sat there, I say, hey, did he struggle with this? And they're like, yeah. I was like, yeah, me too. Like, I wish he had talked to me about some of this stuff. Not because it would have changed the outcome in this situation, but just because it would have been nice for both of us to know that we were dealing with some of the same stuff. And that, especially for him, that I've overcome all of those things to get where I am. And you will too, and so I guess that's the biggest thing. If you're having trouble, if you're going through it, just talk to people, because I promise there's somebody and care about, and who cares about you, who has gone through or is going through the same things. And just lean on each other, man, because that's all we got. We all we need, right?
Yep.
And
that's right.
And that's I guess that's where I'll leave it tonight. But we love you, Tim. We love you, Alonzo's, and we're here for whatever you need, and we're gonna
send you all our love
together to honor Timmy. So
certainly left a mark for all of us at Loco Sports.
Yeah, I did.
And we're gonna miss him. Yep.
Yeah.
No doubt. Thanks for getting the show going tonight, guys. As I mentioned, I came home from first day back at school, got some work done, and then I thought I'll just knock off for a few minutes here before the show, so I'm not so tired.
A
few minutes turned into a few hours.
Yeah, I woke up to several text messages and a call from Max.
Like, Justin, where are you?
I looked at the clock like, oh no.
JJ.
We were hoping
Last
week we were hoping that Carnell might be able to join us tonight, but he was not available tonight. We're going to get Carnell Warren on real soon, though. By the way, one of the big stories of the week.
How about it?
Sponsors real quick. Mickelson Law Firm, our original sponsor and our all-star sponsor. They've been with us since the beginning. Mickelson Law Firm, right in downtown Bluffton. They can help you with all your legal needs. They're our official real estate closing attorney and presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. And they are right there, downtown Bluffton. They have all the legal help you need at Mickelson Law Firm, our all-star sponsor. We've got our MVP sponsors, Base Hit Life apparel for the baseball and softball life, with all kinds of cool stuff. Max often rocks his hoodie from Base Hit Life, is Calm Your Mitts. Base Hit Life got all your styles. Live your best Base Hit Life at basehitlife.com. Homegrown Home Inspections, the best home inspectors in the Loco. They're going to check out that home and make sure it's good to go. And if you're building a new home, you got to have their phased inspection to check on it every step of the way and make sure it's built right with Homegrown Home Inspections. Hospice care in the Low Country, now part of Mirasol Health, still providing hospice care, and they've got all kinds of other great services providing compassionate care for life's most challenging moments. And USCB Center for Low Country Hospitality Education, great programs teaching you about the Loco, the great place we live. Check them out on the Hilton Head Island campus, USCB Center for Low Country Hospitality Education. Speaking of USCB, that was a fun rewind last night, and even more fun doubleheader at the Cove on Saturday.
Yeah. Great start to both the men's and women's. Well, obviously, conference officially started December, but a new year, and it obviously a while since they played, and to get the home portion of conference play start off with 2 wins like that was fantastic to see, and love the excitement and the energy, and I loved you and Kevin Libby on the call. What you guys were fired up.
How was that experience? How was that experience, JJ, doing a game with Kevin? I have to ask you because I've done several.
Tremendous. It was tremendous. The guy makes everything better.
The dude is just awesome.
It was some of the most fun I've ever had calling a game, and it had a lot to do with the man to my right. Not gonna lie. I mean, he brought my energy level up. I was as hype as I ever am on a broadcast. I got a little out of hand because it was so fun, and Libby was so much fun. And then we had the Jackal. The Jackal made it a blast.
Yes,
I did this today, the day of the Jackal. We named Sheridan Bostic the Jackal in real time. I'll take credit. It's my proudest nickname yet, because I gave it to her on the fly. And as soon as somebody sees the day of the Jackal, they're going to be like, holy crap, yeah, she's the Jackal. She's amazing. Kevin loved watching the girls' highlights on the rewind. We can watch them right now. I got them loaded up.
Yeah, let's do it.
And you can hear me and Kevin.
Oh.
That was awesome. That was the second bucket of the game. That was awesome. And that was before Sheridan started. The Jackal started firing. The first one, here's the second one.
That's 2 today for Sherry.
I love what you say when you get a 3-pointer. Splash.
That's good.
It became my signature 3-point call for USC.
I love it. It's great.
I didn't know what my 3-point call was going to be until it started going out splash. And I was like, that's it.
That's perfect though for USC.
In the Cove, yeah.
The Cove, you got to say splash.
Great sequence.
It's perfect.
The legend is born in the Cove today.
6 for 6.
We were doing full-on high fives at the broadcast table at this point. I'm not even ashamed to admit.
And lay it in. 22 seconds left.
No Jackal
1.8 seconds. Let's see if USCB can make something of it.
Oh, this is a great play too.
I will
4.8
say
seconds.
though, I will say the audio. We gotta.
The audio doesn't match up. Yeah.
Or it's
a
not
little-
that. It's I wish the audio sounded better. I don't care. If
Oh yeah, yeah.
USC.
It was
I
a
wanna-
little hot. It was just a touch hot.
Yeah. You know, I'd love to work with Bracken on improving the audio. 'Cause I think
Well,
once the audio
that's not a
is
Bracken job. That's not a Bracken job, but
Giving her nearly as much
but
space.
that is
Hayward
it
with
is
shot
the
clock
hardest
running
thing
down,
about
bangs
the
it
whole
in.
thing. is getting
yeah,
the-
absolutely.
The audio
But
makes it so hard.
It's difficult, but what a great weekend it was over at USCB. I'm really proud to see these two teams playing so well. And I know Clayton State isn't, obviously the best 2 programs in the Peach Belt, but to get a sweep at home was really fun to
Huge.
to watch. And of course, I was watching it on the Sandshark Game Day Network because I had nothing better to do, of course. And
well, you were next up on the list of emergency fill-ins, but Libby had told me that he was free Saturday, and that stuck in my head.
Oh, I gotta do do one with you guys one day. One day I will definitely be hopping on. Of course, on Saturday, I guess I'll send you some video actually of big youth. Yes,
the Taco Bowl was amazing. That was, Bracken doesn't get any credit for that. That was purely Sean's doing. Sean Becker.
Yeah, I will say
that Taco Bowl was amazing.
I spent my Saturday getting to watch the start of Beaufort County's youth basketball
Yeah,
season.
you did.
Beginning,
Yes, you did.
and I will send you guys. I do have a couple videos of the young. I was in charge of the 4 to 6 year olds on
Nice.
Saturday, so getting to see those.
How'd that go?
That's where the lust for basketball is the strongest.
It's
the lust
so
for
great.
the basketball. They just want the
so,
ball.
Right.
Yeah,
Give me that
it's
ball.
so great watching.
Yeah,
I want it. I want it now.
Those little kids just go at it and try to shoot a basketball whatever way they can shoot the basketball in.
Truman played one season in that age group, and he was out.
A two-hand just chucking at the basketball hoop. But
I think the first time he got swarmed by players when he had the basketball, he was like, I'm out on this. I didn't want to play football. This was crazy.
Yeah.
Libby's here for the 4 to 6 year old highlights, by the way. He wants to see the layups.
I will. Yeah, let me
use the magic square. Use the magic square.
Yeah, I will send them over to you real quick here. And,
well, you have sharing powers too.
I do. That's true. I will see what I can do here.
These are USCB men's highlights. Whole lot of Huddy Norton. Good to have Coach Lucerico back on the call for the first time this season. Dominic Eason.
Oh, whoa.
Dom.
Wow. Kyle Pulse with the layup at the other end. Great find in traffic by Ali Ralat. Correct.
It's a whole different kind of play-by-play call when you call these guys. It's a lot more telling you what just happened instead of what's about to happen. It's a track meet.
Good night for the men's basketball team. Really fun watching them play what was a great game.
I missed the Red Rover game. I was locked in doing
my
I didn't see him run through the team lineup.
Yes.
Eason's so smooth, dude. Just a freshman. He can be so good.
Tough rebound. Davis almost had it, but
Eason tracked it down again. Bang!
Right? 3-pointer on the way from Gaines.
Gaines. It got to a point where they got it down to like 6 or 8, and coach was like, "Stop shooting threes." Coach Lucerico was about to lose his mind. They didn't stop just taking threes instead of trying to drive to the basket. And this was the one where he was about to lose it until it went in. That's where I said, I know that was a no for you. Libby was also scouting you and Donald on the press row. He's trying to understand all the jobs.
Nice.
It is a pretty awesome operation, a college basketball game day operation. It's a lot of people involved.
It is a lot.
It's a blast being there. I asked Kevin after the game, I said, what was that experience like for you? And he said it was unreal.
Right?
He said it was so great. And obviously it brought me back, especially last year when I filled in for you on a doubleheader with Tony Red Bruin. And that was the first time that I'd been around Red as much as I was calling a game with him. And then I had him on with me doing some high school basketball at WHHI. Had him filling in for Kev. I may reach out to him again within the next couple of days or so. Might have another assignment for him.
He'd love to do it. He's going to be doing some men's games with me as well.
So just to have that, that ability to be in that gym, it brought me back to when I was in college. And I used to do men's and women's, play color for a while there, but play-by-play. Yeah. And there's nothing like a college basketball environment. Nothing.
So great. And you're right on top of the game. I don't know about you, Marcus. I love it when the refs come and explain stuff to me. I love it. I love it when they come over and explain something to you. It makes my day. I tell them that too, and they're like, "Yeah, well, we're gonna try not to. We don't want to have to come over here and explain anything."
We don't see that in high school. At least I don't.
Man, you ain't kidding. Especially the guys. I mean, it is just an incredibly high level of basketball. I will say that was the best the women have played in the 2 years that I've seen them personally.
And it's because they're healthy.
They look so good.
Right. It's when you have those reinforcements back
healthy
in
again.
Yep. That's everything.
Yeah, the dude refs are amazing. That is a fact. They when they stretch out before the game, you're like, yeah, you better run that floor.
Makes me think of Dick Bavetta back in the day. He was one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, he could run a floor like it was nobody's business in the NBA.
Yeah,
he was one of the great ones.
Kevin says Sharon built a castle. We get to see the decorations. The castle was a fixer-upper at first because it had some things that were banged up, had to be fixed up, but it's looking pretty good right now. There's still one injury in the backcourt away from being in trouble any given week, but they're getting a lot closer to having the team that she envisioned this year, and they look like a totally different team right now than they did early in the season for sure. And obviously, Bostic, if he wants to continue to be the Jackal, Jackal got more than one kill, hit the target more than once. So she's gonna have to take out a few more to maintain her name. But she definitely changes the dynamic, being able to shoot it from the outside when they just really haven't been able to do that. And then the guys are just a beast unto themselves. They're special. They're not gonna win every game, but man, they are gonna fight like hell to try to. And I love it.
That's right.
And the way they buy into each other. It's awesome.
Love it.
What else we got going today, boys? Not much. We had a little wrestling over the weekend. I don't know about what happened to the May River duels. I didn't see anything about that, but
I did see the Hilton Head girls against Savannah Country Day.
Oh yeah,
on Saturday afternoon, and I was pretty surprised. I'm walking into the dark. I was pretty surprised at just how athletic and how not so much that they were a whole lot bigger than Hilton Head, but those are some tall girls on Savannah Country Day.
Oh, they're good. They're good.
Savannah basketball is on another level. Just that. I mean, that's both boys and girls. It is another, just a high, another level.
Roten had herself a day, but it just wasn't quite enough. Hilton Head in that matchup.
Kevin has followed you into the dark, Marcus.
I didn't see anything. See anything with Leah Jackson.
Leah Jackson. Yeah, you said Leah Jackson wasn't active.
I don't think she was. And then I was wondering who number 23 was for Hilton Head because she wasn't on the roster there. That Max Preps had.
Must be a call up.
Could be.
Yeah, they don't have a 20.
Hilton Head gave what they had.
Good.
Oh, Marcus may be getting eaten by gremlins.
Lost her for a second.
We'll get him back.
It looks like 23 was Ellis Freeman, an 8th grader, called up. Had 5 points.
Okay.
Made a triple. Yeah. Is that who we're talking about? 3 steals, 5 points. Ellis Freeman, an 8th grader, it would appear. Michael Jordan was it Michael Jordan in a weave by any chance? Like Kevin Levy has a question.
No.
Number 23, Michael Jordan in a weave. But I don't have tonight yet. As I mentioned, I was sleeping on the couch right up until the show started, and then some.
Not quite of the teams of old, in my opinion. We'll get to cover them. One thing, May River, and him a shout out on the air for sure. And
You're breaking
my
up on
thought
us. I'm not picking up all that.
of just
Losing you.
you could just tell.
Yeah, sorry, Marcus. We're only getting bits and pieces of that, but I did find one score so far from tonight. Patrick Henry girls over Calhoun Academy, 43-30. I'm looking through the rest of them as we speak.
Yep, he was one of a kind.
I think we're talking about Tim.
Yes, we are. My connection is telling
yeah,
me
you're breaking up on us. He was one of a kind, and I assumed we were talking about Tim, but
yes, we are.
As Lip says, the
I
Gremlins haven't
apologize.
invaded. No, it's all good.
Well,
we see you in the
Marcus
dark.
man is on the move.
Yes, we see that. The man is on the move. But what else did you fellas have other things you wanted to talk about tonight?
Just preview what's tomorrow because we got a lot of games on tap, including the start of region play in the majority of the high school league, and I'm excited to get started because we've got some great matchups right off the bat, especially where I will be tomorrow night in the Den with the Bobcats taking on a Beaufort Eagles team, which we haven't seen much this year. They spent most of the holidays off. But we've seen some good things from that girls' side. They have been competitive against quality schools. I think they'll be favored against Bluffton. Now we haven't seen much of them, but I like the way Beaufort's playing. Yeah. And then the guys' game should be fun. I mean, they're all going to be a ton of fun, but this one especially can Bluffton carry over the hot start into a match against a Beaufort team that's always going to be a tough group to play. I'd say Bobcats are probably strong favorites in this ballgame, but never discredit Jeremy Huff in the way he could coach up these squads. Beaufort hasn't played much this year. I'm not sure what to think about them, but
they've played 9 or 10 games.
Yeah,
they've played more than you realize. They just haven't won. They're like 1 and
and they played some really strong teams though. They've played
1 and 9.
They've played a bunch of 5A teams.
They did. But they also played Whale Branch twice and Battery Creek twice. But yeah, they did. They played a bunch of 5A teams though. They played Ashley Ridge twice, Cane Bay, Stall, Goose Creek. So they've played a good schedule, but they just haven't had success against it. So we'll see what that translates to, in region play. I don't pretend to know. I really don't. I just know that they haven't been winning, and at the end of the day, you got to win. Right. I would think Bluffton shouldn't have any trouble with that game at home, but you never do know. Colleton County, May River guys matchup is kind of interesting. Hilton Head, Bishop England gives us a little bit more idea of what Bishop England has. Edisto Hampton, that's a pretty good matchup. Yeah. Whale Branch Bridges right out of the gates.
Yes.
I plan on being at Wilson Hall at JP2.
Okay. That's tomorrow night?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, yes. Sure is. Yeah. That'll be interesting. Wilson Hall is pretty solid. We saw them against Bluffton last week in that tournament, and that was a competitive game that Bluffton took out in the pulled out in the end. Libby says they're the most entertaining high school team in the Loco. That's not even close, I don't think. It's like Prep's really, really good, but Bluffton's far more entertaining to watch, just as far as entertainment value goes. And I don't think anybody else is even on that level. Bridges Prep is pretty fun to watch at times. Hampton's pretty fun to watch at times when they get it going good, although they will fight you in a 42-40 game if they have to. Bluffton's definitely the most fun, stylistically speaking. There's no question about that. I would say Prep's the most fun to watch, girls-wise. right now just because of what Courtney does.
I would agree.
Yep.
She's fun. She's really fun, and watching her sitting up in the stands watching that USCB team is fun too. That's exciting to think about her next year out there helping run the show. Yeah, tomorrow should be fun. It's a really good slate, and this is a hard thing for a coach too. Like that first one back is kind of nerve-wracking, you know.
Right.
Like it's not so bad for like Bluffton because they just got off a tournament and they're rolling into it, but some of them have had significant period of time off here, and now you got to go out and hope you can execute in a big game on Tuesday night. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get to a game, but because I think I'm going to go to Tim's Memorial tomorrow night instead. But yeah, Max, you're on mute, buddy. Can't hear you.
Sorry. I've been working on getting a video put together for you guys.
I see that.
I as well will be at Tim's Memorial, of course, and just to show our support. But yeah, you know, I agree with Kevin. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, Bluffton basketball, you know, that boys basketball team is by far the most entertaining. And of course, they won another tournament this past weekend, so really impressive tournament too. Defeating the hosts of Waccamaw. At the Waccamaw Invitational Tournament. Really big deal defeating a team in Waccamaw, and that's a strong Waccamaw team as well. So really great to see this team really clicking. And of course, for most of that tournament, if not the whole tournament, although I think Carnell was there for the final game, they were without Carnell Warren for their first two games, and still breezed through that tournament with ease. And so
that was impressive to me.
I really like where this is going. I mean, I really do think this team will obviously 100% be making the South Carolina High School League playoffs, but I think they have a real shot at lower state champions. I really do. And I love this team. Not only are they really strong, but they got depth as well. They got great depth on the bench. So to add that with how strong their starting five is, I really do think this team could go all the way to the lower state finals and potentially be lower state champs by the end of the basketball season. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing that blew me away about their performance in that tournament was, you know, obviously playing without Carnell. So I was thinking, man, that first game was dangerous, you know, against Cathedral. Malcolm Gordon was tremendous. I mean, he's not Carnell, but he played the role really well for a couple of days. He had 12 points in that game against Cathedral. He had 9 against Wilson Hall. Every time I looked up, he was making a play. And that's what they need. They need guys who can step in, because that's the guy you're counting on when somebody gets in foul trouble or something like that. And for him to get those minutes now is going to be really helpful, I think, down the stretch for them. So I like that team a lot. They don't go real deep. They're only about 7 deep, really, and they only went 6 deep when Carnell wasn't with them. You know, they don't really want to go much deeper than that. So foul trouble is going to be a concern for them. But I think as long as they stay out of that, they're going to be really tough. Now, as far as lower state championship, you know, I don't feel like I know enough about the 4A lower state landscape right now to
but I
claim, but they seem to
those
be
brackets.
I think they're a strong. I believe they're a strong enough team to be contenders for lower.
I do too. I think on the face of it, at least there's enough there to think that we could have a long run.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the 4A's, you look at Lower State and Myrtle Beach area as
you got Gray too. You got Gray.
Yeah, great collegiate. Them being 4A, that's a historically good basketball program. In fact, I think they've beaten one of our schools in a state championship before. Was it Whalebridge? I think they beat Whalebridge.
They beat Pringle.
Yeah, they did. They did indeed. We've had some teams kind of nowhere make a run. I mean, the Hilton Head team with McCracken, no one picked them to get there, and they were.
That's true, and I feel like this team's at least as talented as that team was. Probably a little bit more in terms of like raw
More
basketball.
to throw at you. They have more to throw at you. I think. The Hilton team was really gritty, but I think they didn't have a shooter
The
like.
Hilton team was
they-
really Will
yes.
McCracken and a bunch of athletes.
But they didn't
Yeah.
have a shooter like Skinner. They didn't have a guy like Harry Skinner there. Like they I think Bluffton is a little more they can throw at you. And
Oh, for
I
sure.
think Hilton may be maybe a better defensive team, I think, than Bluffton, but I think Bluffton is still made a little bit more in the end.
I think that's right. But I think Bluffton's a pretty good defensive team too, though. When
Yeah,
they,
but that
they
Hilton
decide
team was
that that's
probably
what
better.
they're going to do, like that game against Prep when they really had a game plan and they locked into it and they were going to ride Harpering around the floor and make somebody else beat them. Like they looked pretty good defensively in that game. So I think they're capable of being really, really, really solid. They got a floor general, 2 defensive anchors, Harry Balls and Carnell Tomahawks, and Skywalker slays Death Stars.
Oh,
We went deep with the Star Wars references there.
mm,
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong
Kitties!
with that at all.
What's up, kitties? Made it to the purple room, boys. We're safe in the purple room.
Purple room, yes. How great is
Safe in
that?
the purple room. All right, let me shout out some sponsors. We got varsity sponsors, DDS Web Design, builds, hosts, maintains websites. So check them out at ddshhi.com if you need a website. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties and helps us shine a light on the loco frontier. Dr. Ambrose Cole, our official chiropractor, and he's at Root Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. And Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. We had a great Loco Grind the other night after that was our New Year's kickoff this year. Loco Grind, talking about the May River Shark Invitational, the U.S. Army Shark Invitational. So go check that out. That was good times. If you want more wrestling news, speaking of wrestling this weekend, I started to mention it and didn't really. The Whale Branch duels, St. James taking the title. They beat Hilton Head 51-21 in the championship match. There's a whole list of results, but everybody got some wins. Battery Creek got a few dubs. It looks like Bluffton sent like a B team basically over there because they took some lumps. But JP2 had a good day. Got some good wins, and I think finished 3rd in this thing, or maybe 4th. I'm not really sure, but yeah, wrestling season is starting to get down to it. We're gonna have state qualifier stuff starting this weekend for middle school and JV, and then the high schools to follow in a couple weeks, and the high schools will have their region duels coming up too. So getting into it in wrestling season. I'll keep you posted on all that. We'll let you know about it all in the Loco Grind, presented by Reverence Wrestling Club. We also have a Loco rep in the semifinals of the college football playoff with Jalen Sneed. And we got one in the NFL playoffs with Puna Ford.
Puna.
Yeah. How about that?
Big Puna.
yeah. Yeah, great to see that for Puna, and he's had a really solid underrated year with the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh, and that.
I plan for my Chiefs to send him home in the 2nd round.
Yeah. By the way, my condolences to Cincinnati Bengals fans. What a tough way to see your season end, because I think I'm not going to say any conspiracy theories here, but I don't think the Chiefs wanted to see the Bengals in the playoffs at all. That's all.
No, they did not. They did not.
Let me just say that it's because the Chiefs were on, not the Chiefs, the Bengals were on a hot streak. They had won 5 in a row.
Well,
that's right.
The Chiefs and Bengals have quite a rivalry at this stage.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
I don't think any fan base hates the Chiefs more than the Bengals, and probably vice versa, although Buffalo's close.
Yeah.
What about the Broncos, though?
Probably the
How great
division.
is it to see the Broncos back in the playoffs, man?
Baltimore as well has it for Kansas City.
Yeah, that's true. They all hate us.
Look at that one. Baltimore and Buffalo.
I've never been a fan of the team everybody hates. It's fun.
It's fun to be the villain sometimes.
Yeah, well, my Sunday was not fun to watch.
I knew it though. I knew it, man. We were sitting there and everything was going so great, and
why did I see that coming?
There's no way all this is gonna play out.
For a second, I was like, "Oh my God, the Buccaneers are up 16-3. This could be interesting."
Well,
and then I remembered that they
you
were up
had a feeling
27-0 the last time they played the Buccaneers, and then lost that game. So I should have seen it coming. Anyway,
Yeah.
I love
what-
Penix though. I really do.
I love how Wes-
I'll tell
Wes
you
was
what,
like-
we're gonna have some great quarterback rivalries for sure between Bryce Young and Michael Penix for years to come in
That's
that
going to be
division.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Let me just say this: despite the Falcons losing that game in overtime to the Panthers, I think at that point they realized they weren't making the playoffs,
Yeah,
so they
I mean, it
couldn't
was
really care at that
didn't
point.
matter at that
So
point.
let me just say this:
At least you
Michael
didn't win
Penix-
and give up the first draft pick like the Patriots.
That's
Yeah,
a good
that's
point.
great.
Fire their coach.
Ooh.
Oh,
I will say Joe Milton was looking great for
By the
the
way,
Patriots.
Mayo is
he's
gone.
the backup.
Gerard Mayo.
Yeah,
he's
Gerard
out.
Mayo's
Yeah.
gone.
not so sure I agree with that.
The speculation is they already have an agreement in place with Vrabel.
Also,
That
I
would
do
make
have some
sense.
interesting news talking about coaches who have been either fired or are going to be fired. I'll save it for a little bit later on here. But I will say, despite the Falcons' loss, Penix and that Falcons offense are going to be something to keep
Oh
a
man,
close eye on next season.
the
because,
connection that he
oh
already
my
has with
goodness.
Drake London.
Look out.
Man,
I hope
they were
I
on
hope
one.
we keep. Yeah, I hope we can keep the defense together though.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'm a little
And
worried
then
about.
I
right
mean,
now.
you got probably the best running back, one of the best 3 running backs in the league for sure, in Bijan
He did
Robinson.
so great for me in fantasy this past Sunday, man. He was
Bijan
Robinson is
yeah.
I love that guy.
I mean, he's-
Unreal.
Man,
Love him.
I started the season fading him. Really, I thought Algier was going to start stealing some of the carries, but Bijan had a great
Ah.
season. He
He had a
No,
great.
he
Let me
kinda-
just say this: that's one of the better running back duos in the NFL right now.
Algier's a great backup. He's a really
fantastic,
solid backup. Yeah.
but we forget Tyler Algier in his rookie season was 1,000+ yard running back. You know, he was great for Atlanta. He's been great for Atlanta the last couple seasons.
True.
So to
Hey,
keep
guys.
him and Bijan together is going to be really
Outfield.
fun to see.
Yeah.
And then of course Drake London and Kyle. Drake London had a good season. Kyle, he might be a top fantasy receiver next year. Kyle Pitts. I hope they can get Kyle Pitts on the right track. I just don't know. Ray McLeod was fantastic for the Falcons.
He
this
was
year.
former Clemson guy.
Yes.
Yep. Former Clemson
He's
guy.
a Clemson guy, but
And
let
I
me just
think
say
a
this:
full
he's
season
always
with
been
Penix will help Pitts a lot.
he's always been over his career a special teams dude. Really, like that's where he thrived. But this season, he thrived as a receiver for the Falcons, and I hope he can continue doing that. But I have high hopes for this team next season, so I'm not worried. This is the first
Gonna be a fun
offseason
division.
that I'm not. First
It's
offseason in years that I'm not worried about the Atlanta
I'll
Falcons.
tell you what, this is the most optimistic I've been about Carolina in a long time. I feel like the last few years a revolving door of quarterbacks with guys like Kyle Allen, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and now it's looking like Carolina may have found that guy.
All those guys are pretty good now.
Sam Darnold's been on a tear.
Yeah, by the way, it is Darnold against Mayfield in the first round of the playoffs.
Yes, it is.
Bucks and Vikings in the first round.
Yeah, it is.
No,
it's
it's
not.
Vikings.
Bucks
No,
Commanders.
no,
Sorry.
Vikings, Rams.
Bucks Commanders. And Vikings are
Vikings,
playing
Rams.
the Rams. Okay.
The last time, by the way, the Commanders / Redskins won a playoff game, it was against the Buccaneers of Tampa Bay. So
Guess
this
what?
How long the quarterback in that game was Heineke?
2005.
Okay.
I think they're going to do it again.
I
think
I
Washington's
did
gonna
too.
be
I think Washington's
I
the
did
favorite in that
too.
game. Although Baker
Um,
Mayfield, you can never count on him the way he's been playing for Tampa. He can sling it,
true.
but I think Washington's a more complete team. And
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels
man.
is impressive. The way he's
Dude.
been performing in the clutch,
He's amazing.
especially that game.
he's
He's been sensational his rookie season. So I definitely would take Washington in that game over Tampa if I was picking it. But
I'm picking it.
I think the line. I think I think
A, because I think Washington's better, and B, because I hate
yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, you know.
Yeah.
There's no room for that in Wes's metric.
Yeah. Yeah, but they knocked my Falcons.
When has the
out of
NFC
playoffs.
South ever won a first-round playoff game? It seems like a while since it's happened.
It's been forever. Well, actually, no, it's
Well,
not.
no, the Bucks used to
No,
win
it's
them all
not.
the
The Bucks
time.
have.
They had that
Okay,
guy, Brady.
recently, well, the Bucks, ever since Brady, but it seems a while. It seems a while.
Wasn't that
now.
long ago that the
It was
Falcons won the
21.
Super Bowl?
Yeah,
Yeah, 3 years ago they won the Super Bowl, right? Like,
Yep, that's
seems
right.
forever ago.
I know it feels like an eternity, but
It was
some
21 when
of
Brady
my
led the
fellow
Super
Chiefs
Bowl. It wasn't
fans
too long
want
ago. But
some of
then
my
again, it
Chiefs
feels like
fans
a long
want
time ago.
It does. It feels like an
Yeah, it
eternity.
does. It really does.
But yeah, some of my
Oh,
Chiefs
man.
fans want a rematch with Tampa. They want to avenge that loss.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
want-
happening. Sorry.
I want Chiefs
Not gonna happen.
Lions because then I won't even be that
the
sad.
Detroit looks like that team of destiny mold, but as soon as I say that, I don't
Hey,
want to
Max.
jinx them.
Max, do you know what this means? 28-3.
Oh,
I remember well.
That
Screw
one,
you,
that one hurt
Screw
me
you.
personally because I was such a Patriots hater. Such a
Oh,
Patriots.
everyone was a Patriots hater, except for people who like the Patriots for whatever reason. I still don't understand that to this day. Thank you
I
so much,
remember.
Kevin Libby, for
I
bringing
will
that up.
always
I
be a
really
Brady
appreciate
hater
it, man.
because I
Kevin,
remember
you're gonna get it the next time I see you. You're gonna get it. Kev
Kev
be trolling.
Betrolling.
Yeah, that's
I
hey,
just
that's
remember
true.
everyone. I was in college, and we all left the party because the game looked like it was over, and then all of a sudden I kind of glimpsed, and all of a sudden, it was I was like watching on and off, and then we all kind of gathered back in the lounge because it like
it was like watching a train wreck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wes, guys, we don't need to talk about this anymore. I think we can move on because I do have some news.
Well, to be fair, I felt a personal connection when it was happening because I was like, this feels just like when the Chiefs blew that playoff game against the Colts a few years before.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
I do remember that. Yeah,
Sickening.
that's right.
Just sick.
I will say, speaking of coaches getting fired, Clemson football has parted ways with their defensive coordinator, Wes
I saw
Goodwin.
that.
This morning, I believe it was, and so they are now on the search for a new defensive coordinator. Other college football news: I have not heard anything about Gaston Moore, who is still currently in the transfer portal. We have not heard anything yet from both Gaston and his crew of where his next destination will be. So we will keep you updated when that update comes around for Gaston Moore and what his next step in his college football career will be, trying to get obviously to the NFL eventually. And I think he could be a quarterback who could eventually get to the NFL, hopefully. But we will wait to see where he ends up going. And then, what was the other thing? I forgot what the last thing was. Let me look it up real quick while you guys discussed other things.
Well, I know you did have you had some basketball video for us, but that might be for a little later. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be a little later.
But it's getting a little later, so we can go ahead and do our Loco Booster Club and get into our thoughts.
Yeah, good idea.
Let's support these folks if you can. Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court. They're with Charter One Realty and want to bring you home to Hilton Head Island.
Have to interject real quick.
What's that?
I saw them on Saturday night at a fellow choristers party to celebrate New Year's. They're heading back to Charlotte. So saw Daniel and Debbie. They did a couple duets together.
Oh yeah?
I'll tell you what. That couple, they can duet like
They're talented.
nobody you heard. They're terrific.
They
And
duet like nobody's
terrific
business.
Yeah, I love the pun.
They're awesome.
That's a great pun.
Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel. Go see them out on Argent Boulevard and see what they can do for you. Jay's Barbershop will get you looking right. Go in for great conversation. Come out with a great haircut in downtown Ridgeland. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. Floors so clean, your feet will thank you. Hudson Seafood House on the Docks, presenting sponsor of Under the Bus and purveyor of great seafood, cocktails, and sunsets on Hilton Head Island. And Hurricane Sports Cafe, your place to be in Hampton if you're hungry or thirsty. No one eats like Gaston. No one fights like Gaston.
He was Gaston back in the day.
Yeah.
There was.
A dangerous pastime.
Yeah. I do remember the other things. Two quarterbacks have declared for the NFL draft. Interesting names. Recently injured and just finished surgery and now recovering. Carson Beck has declared for the NFL draft. Coming out of Georgia. Intrigued to see where he ends up in the draft. And then, of course, Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe has also declared for the draft. So it should be interesting to see where those two quarterbacks land in the draft because those are two interesting names when it comes to the NFL draft and seeing where they could end up going. Because I think we know where Sanders, Cam Ward, and those guys are going to end up going.
Well, Tennessee is the first overall pick. Then you got Cleveland, then you got the New York Giants, then the Patriots, then Jacksonville.
They could all use a quarterback, the top three.
Yeah. Tennessee's probably going for Sanders, and I think Cleveland probably will go for Cam Ward. If
I would agree.
Because I mean,
condolences.
Because let's be honest, Cleveland and Tennessee both need a
Who
quarterback.
are you sending condolences?
Well, I just harken back every time I go to social media every year. I see the jersey with like 25 last names of the quarterbacks who all went to Cleveland and all their career really.
That's very
started with Tim Couch, 1999.
Since Boney Carter's
the question I would have is,
that's a good point too.
Will Cleveland make the right choice? Because whenever they choose a quarterback in the draft, it kind of shocks everyone, and we're like, "What's going on?" You know, like they've had a couple shocking picks in the NFL draft. You would wonder if they just decide to skip on Cam Ward for some reason. I mean, I just don't.
I mean, they can't go into another season with Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
As much as I would love to see Jameis Winston be the answer, I don't think he is. Deshaun Watson obviously
can live with 24 picks a season.
And that's unfortunately the issue. You know, and
he's a great backup quarterback. He
is fantastic for a backup quarterback, but I think he will never get the chance to be a starter again. I just don't think he's the answer anymore for any NFL team. Cam Ward, I think, would end up going to Cleveland, barring Cleveland doesn't make a stupid decision in the NFL draft, which they've been known to do at times. I think the questions now as you go into the draft is, where does Jalen Milroe land after having, and let's be honest, he had some good years for Alabama, but they weren't great years.
He does not look like a for sure NFL quarterback to me.
No, he doesn't, and that's what scares me.
Pretty slight.
Carson Beck doesn't look like that quarterback right now.
Isn't the best draft class for quarterbacks?
Now, I do think Beck would probably be an upgrade for a few teams.
Yes, he would, but I don't know if he'd be a long-term answer.
He's not a sure, long-term NFL starter.
Well, especially after this injury and surgery, you just don't know what it's going to be like afterwards. You know,
I had questions about him before.
And then if the first three teams take quarterbacks, where does Travis Hunter land? I think that's another question.
Does people are wondering. Still end up in New England at 4?
Good.
It's possible.
If they're happy with Drake May, then I would say.
I think I don't think
they should give up on May.
They're not taking quarterback.
They would take Hunter 1.
May's their guy.
Hunter 1 for sure.
May prove that he could be the guy. They're not going to go quarterback.
Why did I go full American History X on the haircut? All right, so I was wondering about that too. I usually use guard number 2. I did guard number 2, and I was like, maybe I'll go a little bit shorter this time. So I did guard number 1. Guard number 1 does not leave much hair, friends. Not much at all. Not much at all. So we're just gonna wait for it to grow a little bit.
It's all good. It's all good.
I wore my flat cap around today. Kids were like, "Why are you wearing that old man hat?" I was like, "Well, guard number 1 is a lot shorter than guard number 2, and I've been wearing this hat since my early 20s." Thank you very much.
Fair enough.
I was not
Also,
wearing the Fidel Castro hat. I was wearing.
I did see, obviously, if anyone who's been paying attention to the baseball offseason has noticed, the Atlanta Braves have been losing pitchers left, right, and center. Max Fried went to the Yankees, and then Charlie Morton. I love that hat. That's a cool
Yeah,
hat.
this is
Yeah,
my
Charlie
Baltimore.
Morton.
Yeah.
Charlie Morton.
That our
the color-
grandfathers used to
Yeah.
wear.
Yes, right.
the
I
driving
got a
cap.
couple of.
My driving cap.
Yeah, that's a great cap. As I was saying, Max Fried obviously went to the Yankees, and then Charlie Morton just recently signed with the Baltimore Orioles for the next year. So, where do the Braves go in terms of pitching? Well, I saw a rumor today that they could be potentially looking at Max Scherzer, who's still on the free agency market, as an answer for at least the next year. To add an arm to their rotation. It wouldn't be a terrible choice for the Atlanta
No.
Braves if they can hook him up on a 1-year deal and see what they can do with him,
Family deal. Yeah.
Spencer Strider, and Chris Sale in your pitching rotation. So,
I mean, here's the reality: is you probably get Scherzer for 2/3 of a season spread out over the season in some way or
that's
another.
absolutely true.
Depending on which 2/3 you get, it could be really special. Because
Yeah,
if
well,
you get the first third and the third third, or the last 2/3, that could be pretty good.
Yep.
first two would not be fun.
No, first
Anyway,
two would be a bummer.
but we shall see what the Braves do because they're going to need to make some moves now after losing 2 pitchers in their starting rotation. Although I know they have a lot of young talent, they would like to have a little more of a veteran presence, I'm sure.
Mhm.
So to add with Chris Sale, and so to add Max Scherzer could be a huge boost for that rotation that has lost a lot as of lately. So we'll see what happens there. But I think other than the basketball video I have of these cute little 4 to 6-year-olds playing, I
We'll
think
do
that's
that
all I got.
We'll
That's
do
all I
that
got.
last. What else? What else you boys got?
Good. Marcus?
Marcus?
I can't really think of anything. I'm leaning towards, kind of figuring out in my mind about the NFL playoffs, but I think I'll figuring we get together on Friday night with the playoffs starting on Saturday.
Hey, well, it's a
I'll leave
great
my
week. It's a great
my
week of
Super Bowl
football.
pick
Um,
and whatnot for Friday.
yeah, it's a great week for football because you got these the college
that's right.
semifinals,
Great
the college
week.
football playoff semifinals come up Thursday and Friday, and then lead straight into wild card weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So a lot to talk about. And by the way, speaking of football going on this week, congratulations to the Bison from North Dakota State, your 2024 FCS champions. They knock off
Again,
Montana
They play
State.
some dang football in Dakota.
what is this? Their 10th?
The Bison with their 10th national championship in the
Wow.
FCS.
I
This is
remember
a
when
tight
they were
game because
D2.
The last time I
Yep.
checked, it was all North Dakota State, and I guess Montana State fought their way back and made it a game, and ended up being a tight one there at the end.
Have any of you guys tried bison?
Bison.
Oh, bison
Yeah.
burgers are delicious.
Bison burgers are great.
I've had
Actually-
bison sausage. It's quite good.
Bison.
Oh,
Out west, out in Kansas, we ate us a little bison from time to time.
The elk burger at Street Meats is
yeah.
awesome.
They are quite the dynasty in the
Yes.
FCS. They've won their 5th championship in the last 8 years.
yeah, that's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
especially in this era of college
I
football.
remember.
I'm waiting for North Dakota State to make the move to FBS if they ever do.
You
I
think-
don't know
I
if they
mean,
ever will. But
Be great.
They're not that far removed from D2 because when I was in high school
No,
and
they're not.
college, they were a D2 power because they would
Right.
come through Pittsburgh State about every other year in the playoffs. And in
Yeah.
fact, I remember really the first game I covered, I was still in high school and my mom hooked it up for me to cover a game for like the Pitt State yearbook or something. It was a playoff game. And and they played either North Dakota or North Dakota State, one or the other. I could never keep them straight. One of them was called the Fighting Sioux at the time. And I think that's who it was. But that they're not called that anymore, I don't think. But those were D2 powers, and they've now not just moved up, but become powerhouse programs at the next level. I do think that's
say,
very possible. But what does what does FCS look like from here on out, and FBS?
Oh,
You know, like
who knows?
I think we're going to see a complete overhaul of that landscape where everybody who's not
Well, I
in
would
the
tell you.
Power
Yeah, I would.
50 or whatever is
Yeah,
going to
I
be
would tell you
basically.
this. I would tell you this. I'm sure the Mountain West is looking for some teams to join in, and I think North Dakota State would be a great fit to join in with
Absolutely
that
would.
conference.
Yeah, the
Already.
only thing I don't know
Already.
is, yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't make any sense why they wouldn't, except that you want to keep winning championships.
Right. Yeah.
I'd like to keep
Well,
winning those championships. Those are
Well, I guess what
exciting
recruiting
killers so
recruiting will
far.
do you well for I mean, there's a double-edged sword. Like because if you stay FCS and you can recruit all you want to that level, then we win this amount of 5 championships the last 9 years. But at the other hand, I mean, there is an incentive
Yeah,
to go D1 in a sense.
there is.
Like it would.
There is.
yeah,
Get a better brand of players,
Right.
and yeah, I tell you what though, they play some football up there in the Dakotas. Who
yes,
Yeah,
they
they
do. And
They're
thank
good.
God they have indoor stadiums because
Fargo
my
Dome.
God, they get some cold weather up there. Woo,
You ain't
man.
kidding. You betcha.
Also, I saw this one from Kevin. Street meat puts chili on spaghetti. I will have you know, I did that tonight with chili. I did chili and spaghetti, man.
Yeah.
That's an
Good
Ohio thing.
man.
For those of you who
That's a
don't know,
Good
Cincinnati thing.
man.
it's an
Yeah,
Ohio
baby.
thing, baby. That's
That's
The
a
Cincinnati
Cincinnati
thing.
Cincinnati thing.
Skyline
Yes,
chili.
sir.
I learned to love that
Hey.
in college.
I've never had the real deal Skyline,
Yeehaw.
but I've had my friend Jan Lucas from Homegrown Home Inspections. He's made me his Cincinnati chili.
OHIO, Jan. Woo!
It is
Good man, Jan Lucas. Go
outstanding.
see
Dude,
him.
chili
He
on
also
spaghetti.
introduced me to the greatness of Grippo's barbecue potato chips. Big fan. You like the
But
Grippo's, Marcus?
chili on
I-
spaghetti is the best.
It's awesome.
Chili on spaghetti is
I've not had Grippo's, but Golden Crisp, which
Yeah.
was originated in Massillon, Ohio, not far from where
Yeah.
I grew up.
I'm familiar with them.
I've loved me a bag of Golden Crisp potato chips
Do
for
they
a
also
long
make the
time.
Golden Flake? Is that the same folks?
I'm not sure about that.
No, no.
I was thinking
Don't
Golden
know.
Crisp, Golden Flake would maybe be the same, but I don't know.
Golden
Also,
Crisp
big fan of
potato
Zap.
chips.
I like the Zaps. Those are quite good. The
Yeah.
Voodoo, especially Voodoo flavor Zaps. They have nothing to do with Ohio, as far as I know, but they're real good. We're talking about chips.
Yeah.
So, all right. Do we have more parting thoughts?
No, just once again, as we wrap it up, best wishes to the Alonso family, and
Yeah.
we love you, and
Yep.
we appreciate you so much.
Deep
Yeah.
hugs
We
and
want-
ugly cries
And
for
we of course want you guys to continue being a part of our Loco Sports family,
no doubt.
and you will always have a place here with us.
No question.
So, whenever y'all want to talk sports,
And
we are more than
I
happy to
hope
have
we
you guys
continue
on.
to remember remember our friends Tim, and through what we do, and if it's like an initiative where we put his name to something we do, or just in different ways, but just certainly find a way to honor him, and he is exemplary of our one loco mission, our one loco our mantra, that we at the end of the day, we are all one community, all one loco, and we do this to empower these student athletes, and those others who have that passion to share their love for sports, and sports journalism, and sports media, and want to grow it. And I hope that spirit of Tim Alonso will continue to be prevalent here in the Low Country and beyond.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Well said,
No doubt
Wes.
about it. Yep. Exceptionally well said. And
Rest in peace, Timmy.
they're all our kids.
Wish you, buddy.
I don't know at what point in my time here I realized it, but they're all my kids. They're all our kids, in this community, and they're all capable of something great. I firmly believe that everyone in this world has a purpose that they are meant for, and when they find it, it is special. It is that's what it's all about, is figure out what you were put here to do. And I think Tim was on the path to that. I think he had found his calling and he was making his way. And I take a lot of comfort. And I started to say this earlier and I kind of got off track, but it was stunning to me yesterday to learn how much his short time working with us meant to Tim.
Yep.
It was painful almost to find out how much it meant to him. Because again, I really felt like it was just the beginning. I had already seen
there's
bigger,
no doubt.
better things for him in the future. And so, I had just kind of backburnered it for a semester and then he was going to come back. And so to learn how much it meant to him to spend this time working with us and to be published and to feel like he was doing the thing that he had dreamed of doing, that means a lot. It also makes it sting a little bit more because we know how much more he was capable of. But it really does mean a lot to know that for the short time he was here, he discovered what he felt like was kind of his purpose, and he was living it. And we helped him have a place to do that. And I'm forever grateful for that, and forever grateful that he, despite the fact that he was kind of going through it and had one of the things I struggle with that he struggled with is executive function, just actually doing the things that you've told yourself you're going to do. And the fact that he was able to get through that and reach out to me. And, I know it was an anxious meeting me or reaching out to me. Like, it's anxious when you do those things, right? And when you step out, and the fact that he was able to get through it so that we could have his short time together for him to kind of live the dream and see that he could do it it gives me some peace, man. It really does, that he got to know that he could do it. And as his mom said, he wasn't meant for this world. He was too good for this world, and God showed him a path to a better world that was meant for him. And I'll take peace in that. But outstanding job of honoring him tonight, guys. And just to remind you, Ray was watching earlier and really appreciates it. And I saw Emmy posted a Instagram story as well and said, "Thank you for loving him, LowcoSports." So we definitely did, and we won't stop. So Max, without further ado, 4 to 6 year old basketball.
Yeah, sure.
Shall we?
Yeah, why not? Watch
Here
these.
we go.
These little kids.
We got the steal. Oh yeah, good job pulling it out. Didn't have the numbers.
The two-hand dribble.
Pull down the two-hand dribble all the way to the chest. I love it. That's a pretty good dribble for 4 to 6, though. Attempting to dribble.
Some of these
there we
kids
go.
know.
Oh yeah,
Some of these kids.
Good board.
Some of these kids can play. Put it this way, they know how to play.
There we go.
Oh, put it down, big man.
I didn't get a lot of
yeah,
shooting.
well, there aren't a lot of basketball.
No, there aren't. There really isn't.
Not much.
This is the good stuff right here.
So
that
cute.
ball is like twice the size.
I know.
Oh yeah, I know.
Hand.
I can palm.
I
It's so crazy how big it is to them because I can palm those basketballs. They're 27 and a half basketballs.
The ball's
like you can palm. Anyone can palm it with their hand. Yeah, it's just so cute. These are this is the girls game
Awesome.
that we got to watch. Really fun.
Might as well just have girls and boys playing together at this age, right? Gosh.
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah,
you could.
I guess if you got enough girls and boys though to have separate leagues, you might as well.
I will say following this, the rest of our afternoon was our big adult basketball league tournament that we had for the championship. And I will say we had some players. This blonde hair kid could shoot a ball.
I think he might have walked.
Yeah, he did.
That was a good find under the basket, but my man number 11 with the swat. No.
Number 11 says, "Not today. No."
Oh, nice find. Oh, great pass.
We going coast to coast? Oh, couple.
I should have gotten one of him shooting because he made a couple shots that was
wow.
wow.
They were bringing the double team though. They knew.
Yeah, they were.
Good
I
scouting
will say
report.
we finished our afternoon with our adult basketball league tournament, and I will say we had some real players, man. I mean, we had some real dudes who could play. We had a guy who actually was in his off season from playing overseas and decided to join in the basketball league and play with his squad uh, based here in Beaufort. And then when he's not here, he's overseas playing basketball,
Oh.
getting paid to play basketball. So
Wait,
this
you
dude,
talking about Ryle?
yeah,
Ryle
Rao
Owens?
was here.
yeah.
Oh, Ryle Styles playing in the men's league?
He was. The men's league just
Mm,
finished on Saturday, but it was
mm.
really fun watching some of
Man,
these guys really have some fun playing basketball, and it was great. It was a great day of basketball, a great day of just some real fun over at the Lynn Brown Center in downtown Beaufort. So really fun,
Rao
many
and
Styles.
careers have been launched there.
yeah. And so it's going to be fun getting to watch the rest of the basketball season because we're going to get to watch basketball games every day for the next couple months
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
uh, and
That's
get to
awesome.
watch all ages up to the 16-year-old age getting to play basketball. So it's going to be really fun. And I'm really excited. But getting to watch those 4 to 6-year-olds is
That's
always
it,
a real
man.
treat.
It's the
Yep.
best. It'll make you fall in love with it all over again. It really
Oh,
will.
yeah,
Watching the kids
absolutely.
play. It's the best.
And I, of course, will be getting ready to play spring adult league baseball
Oh,
up
you
in
gonna play?
Beaufort. I am going to play. I'm going to play.
Nice.
Get myself back in shape and get ready to go for the
Man,
season when it starts in May.
I'd like to come out of retirement again, but I don't know if I can pull it off this year. Maybe next year.
Oh, some of those
Life is
guys,
full.
some of those guys are like serious about it. So
I mean, I
it's
played
going to
a
be
few
interesting.
seasons in that league. It's a lot of fun.
It is
They
fun.
are, they are
I'm gonna
serious about it, but they're not too serious about it. Like
right,
everybody wants everybody to have fun.
Yep.
And
but
that's
it'll be interesting. It'll be the
what
first time
position
I've
you gonna
played.
play, Max? You still holding down third
I'm
base?
gonna try to play third base again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I
There
can
you
do
go.
it.
Mhm.
This will be the first time I've played a baseball game in May for the first time in 6 years. So it's going to be very interesting to see what I got and if I got anything left in the tank.
Well,
Um,
Max Raj at the hot corner.
I
yeah,
took about 20 off, brother, and got back out there. So I think you'll manage.
I know I still got an arm. It's just how much of an arm I still have.
Mhm.
No,
Um,
this is not the old Port Royal Bulldogs Bluffton Eagles.
no,
Man.
it's not.
This is the
It's
Beaufort County Parks and
Beaver
Rec
County League. We just
adult
finished.
baseball league.
We just finished the
Not a
winter
men's
season.
league, by the way. It's an adult baseball league because my
Yeah,
girl
adult
Sam
baseball
still
league. It's
plays.
co-ed. We've had some women playing in the
Yeah, we had
in
Sam on our team for the whole time I was playing, pretty
yeah.
much, and she
So
could hit.
it's
Dude,
gonna
she
be
can play.
it's gonna be really fun. I'm excited to get back on the field again, and this was one of the things I wanted to do to start off my new year is get myself ready to go. And I'm gonna be hitting those indoor batting cages over at the
Hey,
Buckwater Park.
come by the house and
Yeah, right,
backyard. We got the cage and
right.
the pitching
I
machine.
gotta go and get me some gear, get myself ready to go. But it's gonna be a great year, and I'm really excited to play some sports once again. It's been a minute, and I'm glad I'm getting to do that. So
My kids will feed you a bucket if you'll feed them a bucket. That's the
hey,
deal.
sounds good to me. I'll do it.
That's the
Absolutely.
deal over here. Hot corner.
So yeah.
Hey, Kev, I feel a Marcus Walsh, Kevin Libby play-by-play color commentary situation coming on, possibly in May or June. How long's that league go, Max?
I believe it's May through June, through
It's
the end of June.
almost. Oh no, it goes longer than that. I think
Goes in the summer.
It may go through July. I'm not sure.
it was. It basically was almost like you can't play until after the kids are done. The only time the
Right.
men's league isn't going is when the kids are using the fields, pretty much. So they
Mhm.
run a fall winter league
kids-
and then
yeah.
a summer into fall league, basically.
Yeah. And the kids use the fields. I believe season starts end of February or very first week of March, and it goes through to the end of through June. I think either the end of May or through June. So we'll see.
Max would have so many nicknames. The Kiwi Clubber.
The Kiwi Clubber. I like that one. That's not bad.
With the K.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right, boys. Well, great show tonight. Thanks for getting it started without me while I was snoozing, and thanks for for kicking things off with the tribute to Tim and getting that rolling. I don't know what else to say at this point except that hasn't been said, except that we love y'all and we're here and that goes beyond the Alonzos. Anybody, man, like. I'm all about some self-therapy. So if you need to talk, let's talk. Let's work it out because we can get through it. Not that we ain't been through before, right? So
Right.
thank you so much, fellas, for your camaraderie and professionalism. Appreciate it. And tomorrow night we got a big slate of basketball games on tap. So we'll be back tomorrow night to let you know what's going on the Loco Hoops scene. Thanks so much to all of our sponsors, especially the OGs, Mickelson Law Firm. And thanks to everybody who showed up to listen or watch. Thanks to the Alonzos for the strength you show us and for, just really for giving us the opportunity to honor Tim here. I would have felt really weird talking about it if I didn't know more about it, and the fact that they were able to show the strength to come over and open up their hearts and explain to me allows me to have some peace and to hopefully pass it on to others who were wondering about what happened. And if you look at social media, it's always amazing in this day and age to look at social media and see the outpouring from people and see how connected our community is, how many people you're friends with you didn't know were impacted by the same people. That always strikes me and brings me back to the we're all in it together thing. One Loco, and like we are truly everything that impacts one of us impacts all of us in so many ways. And so we just gotta be great teammates. We gotta pick each other up when we're down.
Love one another.
And keep pushing. Next pitch.
Yep.
It's a lot we can't control, but we can control our attitude and our effort, and we can get up every day and put on the best face we can and put forth our best effort. So, yeah, that's right. Here for 6 months to 20 from now too, because grief takes time. It'll hit you in the weirdest places too. I'll see. I know months from now I'll see a kid wearing his hat backwards and probably start crying. Like that's how it works. But love you guys. Love everybody who's part of our Loco family. And for Wes Kerr, Max Raj, and Marcus Walsh, we'll see you on the next one. We'll be here back here tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat channel. So for all of us, to all of you, thanks and go Loco.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go